In this video, I'm going to show you the exact framework I use to turn any SaaS website into a scalable growth engine that drives signups and demo bookings. Most SaaS founders think a good-looking website is enough to drive growth, but the truth is, great design only works if it's built around a clear conversion strategy. I know because I worked at a SaaS company where our website consistently drove high-value demo bookings that turned into six-figure deals. So in this video, I'll walk you through my 3-step framework to turn any SaaS website into a predictable growth engine that scales with your business. Okay, let's get into the video. So when I worked at a SaaS startup, I saw firsthand how unpredictable growth can actually be. 1 month you're like celebrating signups, the next everything just stops. In the early days of the startup, everything was founder driven. Every sale, every demo, every email. In 2020, I was one of the first employees. That's me in the picture. So there were 4 founders, 1 employee, maybe 1 to 3 were starting at the same time. And I came into the company in a 1-month internship to do everything design. The website they had in the beginning was just there to make the company look legitimate. 5 years later, in 2025, they have 45 employees. That's an 800% increase. They are active in 3 countries. So they had a huge growth over the 5 years, and that is very unpredictable. 5 years later, I can still call many of them my friends. 4 years as a design lead there was really amazing, and I learned so much. One of the things I learned was how hard it can be to design and develop for a company with unpredictable growth and money that had to be wisely spent. So if we look at this, you can see there's a lot of questions you need to ask in terms of the growth and the product. So who's the ideal customer? Is it B2B, B2C, B2G? What percentage of the market is possible to gain over time? How fast should we grow in order to get a position in the market? What happens if we don't grow fast enough? How do we grow with unpredictable growth? Not enough money versus resources needed. So where's the balance in all of this? And over the 4 years I was there, we had 3 websites, but the last one we made was actually way better. And the reason for that is the first one might have looked great, but it had limited strategy behind it. The company was still finding out what customers we wanted to target in the long run, what value the customers were looking for, and how we could package it. And the second time, or it was actually the 3rd time I was there, we approached it a bit differently. We followed a clear process. We had a dedicated team working on it, and we built every section around our target audience. Actually, we divided the website into 2 because it was a very complex market and very hard for us to target the right audience. So we had to speak to 2 different target groups at the same time. So we had like a system where you could switch between the 2 target groups. This time with the process and everything, that's when it really clicked for me. Growth doesn't come from design alone. It comes from the strategy behind it. And when you combine the design with data, process, and a scalable mindset, then that's where your website actually starts driving real business growth for your SaaS. And that's exactly what this framework is built to do. To sum it up, scalable systems helps with unpredictable growth, and a clear strategy makes SaaS get most value for their money. But let's start with the step 1, understand the business model. So before any design happens, I always dig into one thing. How will the business actually make money? So it sounds obvious, right? But a lot of SaaS websites are built without like a clear link between design and the growth model. So I always start by asking 2 questions. First, what's the main growth driver? Are you trying to increase self-serve signups? Are you trying to get booked demos, or are you trying to get sales calls? So if a model is product-led, which signups is usually used for, then the website has to create instant clarity and remove the friction. So every second counts. You really need to hone in on getting people into your SaaS and then quickly turn them into a committed user. If you're demo driven, then the goal shifts a bit. Now you're trying to persuade them and pre-qualify them. So you don't just want people to book a demo, you want the right people to book a demo. And if you're in the sales-led version, then the website becomes more of a sales enablement tool. So here you will need more case studies, return on investment, so numbers, testimonials, and some credible content that is more relatable in a way. Okay, so the next question would be, how do people actually discover you? Is it through content and SEO, for example, or is it through referrals, or maybe even paid ads? If it's content driven, then design is there to educate and nurture. If it's ads, for example, then design the website for matching the message with the landing page to help conversion. So whenever they see the ad and they land on the landing page, those need to match really well. If it's more product-led, then you would need to move the user from curiosity to click, and then the aha moment, as we call it within SaaS. And that needs to be done as fast as possible. So I always try to build around the behavior that can increase the revenue based on the conversion goal of the business. Because if your website doesn't really accelerate your growth, it's just like a brochure or a presentation that could be thrown in the trash can, like if you were at a networking event. Now, once you truly understand how the business grows, everything else just falls into place. Okay, so now that you know what drives your business in terms of growth, the next is design for conversion, and that's really exciting for a designer like me. But it's also where most SaaS websites can actually fail. Typical mistakes could be technical messaging, unclear conversion goal, what's next for potential customers, missing psychological elements that removes friction, confusion, trust issues, and relatability. Usually founders are too close to the product, so the messaging becomes technical or generic, as that would lead users to bounce from the website. So the goal here is simple. Clarity should always be the foundation. And if your ideal customer can't say what you do after 5 seconds, you're actually losing money, because you will lose the potential conversions. And design, even though I love design, it's not just decoration. It's actually used for behavioral guidance. So psychology is actually a big part of building a great website. It's how you move users from just being curious to actually commit to your offer. Okay, so let's look at how I would approach it with designing for conversion. So here I actually took two screenshots of Notion and their homepage. And the approach I would go with is always start with a clear value statement that passes the 5-second test. So you need to understand it within 5 seconds. What are you doing? Who is it for? And maybe even how fast can I get it? Then you need to build your hero section around clarity, proof, and a strong CTA. We will go into depth with this in a moment. You should use real social proof. So it could be logos, it could be metrics, it could be just the outcomes. And you would also need like very relatable or data specific testimonials, which will really help with the conversion, so they can be very effective. And also, when you like to show the product visually, try to show the value and not just the screenshots. So this is actually like a carousel of different ways you can use Notion. So the screenshot doesn't really tell the full story here. Your CTA should also match the intent of what the user wants to do. So here the user might want to try it out, so it should be easy to get started. Here they say get Notion free. So if you're like here a freemium platform, it could also be try free, and then underneath we could say something like no credit card needed. So that would reduce the risk of trying it out, because a lot of people know that free is not always free. So if you're more like a demo driven site, it could also be book a 20-minute walkthrough. So the design isn't just what looks nice, it is actually what drives the right action. But here you can see that I think it's a bit vague, the overall headline and description, 1 workspace, 0 busy work. What does that even mean? The AI workspace that works for you is maybe a bit better, so you can actually see that Notion are A/B testing different headlines, because it is really hard and at the same time a really valuable skill to be able to make the perfect headline. So that's why I write that their messaging is a bit unclear and they are A/B testing to hone in on their messaging. Then they have 2 different CTAs. So they have the Get Notion Free, so that's more of a sign-up product-led based version. And then they also have a request demo. And that's a bit confusing, because is this for the solopreneur or is this for enterprise? Why would I need a demo when I can try it out? Is it difficult to use? That just raise a bunch of questions for the user that they might not ask, but they will think when they see it. But here you can also see they use real social proof with the logos, and they use some really known companies, which will really enhance the conversions. Yeah, so that was step 2, design for conversions. The last step in this framework is build for scale. And I personally use Webflow. You could also use Framer or a bunch of other tools, but Webflow is really good at making your website scalable, which is great for SaaS, because as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of unpredictable growth. So it should be really easy to update your website. A problem that many SaaS companies experience is that if your team has to message a developer every time you want to change a headline or add a case study, that's not really scalable. So in this graphic, you can see, can you help with the website? Okay. And that will become a bottleneck really quick. In Webflow, I always build with the scalable first mindset. You can build a bunch of different things like a global design system. So here you can have a lot of different colors from your brand guidelines. You can have typography, UI styles, all connected within a variable system. So if you want to change color later on, you can just change it in one place and it will change the whole website. You can also use the CMS collections for building case studies, for building your team profile, for building blog posts. So there's a bunch of things you can do here. And it's really easy because you can just design it once and then you can bind the different fields to the design. So you just need to bind the fields to the different text and images within the post or whatever you're building, and then you will never need to touch the design. If you then want to change something, you can just change it once and then it would change for all the blog posts, for all the cases. So it's really scalable in that way. And you can also create page templates and components. So you can create a nav bar once or a footer once or whatever section you want to make. Create it once and then just reuse it. If you change something to one of the global components, which is the green one here, then it will also change on every site that uses this component. You can also set up page templates. So for example, if you're a marketing team, you might want to quickly make a new sales page or landing page or whatever you want to call it. You set up the page template, you duplicate it, and then you are good to go. So a website should grow with your company, not hold it back. And with the unpredictable growth, it can be really hard to not have a scalable system. And that is what happened to us. We had to go back and redo the website continuously, even though we could probably have build it in a more scalable way that could grow with the company. So I don't just deliver a site, I deliver a full scalable system. Yeah, so that was the 3-step framework. And I know I shared a lot here that you need to be thinking about. And if you're thinking this sounds amazing, but how do I actually make this happen for my own SaaS? That's exactly what I help founders or leaders do. All you have to do is jump on a short discovery call with me, and then we will go through your current situation, your goals, and then we will try to find out what's holding you back and map out what we want to improve first. If that sounds helpful at all, then there's a link below to book a discovery call with me. And it's just a quick, no pressure chat, and you will walk away knowing exactly what you need to focus on next. And if we're not a good match, then that's all good. And that's why it's just a quick chat to feel if it makes sense for both parts. Yeah, so now you know this 3-step framework that can turn any SaaS website into a scalable growth engine. Once that doesn't just look good, but actually will drive consistent signups or demo bookings or whatever your goal is. But yeah, I also know it's not easy just to do on your own, and that's also why I offer these discovery calls to help SaaS founders connect their strategy with design and the growth in like a clear plan. So again, you can book your call using the link below. And then I just want to say thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.